Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever stayed up at night, playing out every possible scenario, worrying about how someone will react, how a situation might spiral, or how things are just not going your way? You rehearse conversations in your mind, you fixate on outcomes you can't change, and you feel exhausted. Sound familiar? Here's the truth no one teaches early in life: most of our suffering comes not from what happens to us, but from our refusal to let go of what we can't control. This is where the Stoics were centuries ahead of us. They understood one core truth. Epictetus once said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle: some things are within our control, and some things are not." In today's world, we're taught to hustle harder, fix everything, be in charge. But what if real power, and real peace, comes not from control, but from clarity? In this video, we'll journey deep into the Stoic concept of the dichotomy of control, what it means, how it reshapes your mind, and how mastering this one skill can unlock a calmer, clearer, more intentional life. So take a breath. Today we'll map how this ancient wisdom unlocks real happiness, not by changing destiny, but by shaping your inner world. Before we dive deeper, if you're ready to take back your peace, your power, and live life the Stoic way, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. This channel is your sanctuary for mastering calm, building mental strength, and living with purpose in a noisy world. So, let's first understand what is the dichotomy of control. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering half your stress has vanished, not because your life changed, but because your mindset did. That's the power of the dichotomy of control, a core idea in Stoic philosophy that has the potential to radically simplify your life. Here's what it means in simple terms: there are only two categories in life: what you can control, and what you absolutely cannot. And if you can learn to truly live by this distinction, you'll unlock the deepest peace you've ever known. Let's break it down. So, what is within your control? Your thoughts, your actions, your goals, your desires, your judgments, your reactions. These are the tools that shape your character. This is the battlefield where you train your inner strength. You are the master of these choices, always. And what's outside your control? Your reputation, your health, your wealth, the weather. Other people's opinions, even the outcome of your own efforts. And here's where people struggle most. We pour our energy into things that don't bend to our will, and it slowly drains us. Take health, for example. Yes, you can eat clean, exercise daily, meditate, and avoid alcohol. You should. But even the healthiest person can be diagnosed with a rare illness. Why? Because your effort is yours. The outcome? That's not promised. Epictetus said it plainly: there are things which are within our power, and there are things which are beyond our power. Beyond our power, our body, property, reputation, office, whatever, are not properly our own affairs. Think about how much anxiety, frustration, and conflict arise from trying to control the uncontrollable. We try to force relationships that don't reciprocate. We obsess over likes and comments for validation. We fear what others think about us, but all of it, completely out of your hands. So what happens when you let go of trying to manage those externals? You reclaim all that wasted energy and pour it back into what actually shapes your life: your character, your discipline, your mindset, your courage to act with integrity. Let's take a real-life example here. Athletes train hard for years, but they can't control injury. Writers pour their soul into books, but they can't control who buys them. You can love someone deeply, but you can't control if they love you back. The Stoic doesn't waste energy demanding results. They commit to right action and accept whatever follows. So here's the mindset shift: I am not responsible for outcomes. I am responsible for effort. This is where true power begins. If this concept is already shifting the way you look at stress or pressure, tap the like button right now. It tells the algorithm you're hungry for Stoic wisdom. And don't forget to subscribe, because next we'll dive into how this mindset leads directly to unshakable happiness. Second, why you should stop worrying. Let me ask you something. How many hours of your life have you lost worrying about things you couldn't control? Think about it. You worry about what someone might say. You worry about an interview result, a health test, or how someone might react. But in the end, none of that worrying changed the outcome. It only drained your peace. Let me paint a picture for you. You wake up feeling unwell. You visit the doctor, get a test done, and they say, "We'll call you in 3 days." Now those 3 days turn into a living nightmare. You can't sleep, you can't eat, and your mind plays every negative outcome on repeat. Finally, the results arrive, and they're negative. You're fine. It was nothing. What just happened? You suffered in your mind, over something that never even became real. As Seneca once said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. But let's say the results were positive. Would worrying for 3 days have changed anything? No. It just meant you suffered twice, before and after. Worry is a thief. It steals time, energy, and peace, and gives you nothing in return. Here's the Stoic truth. If something is within your control, then you should act, not worry. If something is outside your control, then you should release it, not worry. Worry, then, becomes completely useless in every scenario. Imagine this mindset in practice, waiting for job interview results. You did your best. The rest is out of your hands. Someone's opinion bothering you? You can't control what they think, only how you respond. Feeling anxious about aging? You can't stop time, but you can master how you live each day. As Epictetus beautifully said, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. So the next time your mind begins to spiral, ask yourself, is this in my hands, or in fate's? If it's yours, take action. If it's not, let go. The Stoic doesn't chase peace, it chooses peace. If this message is helping you take back control of your mind, drop a comment below with your thoughts about it. Hit that like button and subscribe. Now, let's talk about third point here, which is people's opinions are overrated. Marcus Aurelius said, "It never ceases to amaze me, we all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Why do we let the noise of others drown out the clarity of our own voice?" That question alone could change your life. Here's the truth, you can't control what people think of you. And yet, most of us spend our lives trying to. We adjust our clothes, our words, even our dreams, just to please others. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. You are not here to perform. Your worth doesn't rise or fall based on applause, and your truth shouldn't bend under judgment. Let's take a lesson from the Stoics, starting with the archer metaphor. Picture an archer at full draw. They've trained for years. Their form is perfect. Their equipment is flawless. But the moment they release that arrow, it's out of their hands. A gust of wind, a shift in the target, a random bird in flight, any of it can change the outcome. Can we blame the archer if the arrow misses? No. Because he mastered what was within his control, his aim, his preparation, his discipline. The rest was fate. Now apply that to your life. You give your all in an interview. Still, they choose someone else. You pour love into a relationship. Still, it ends. You create, you perform, you show up fully, and still, critics chatter. But here's the Stoic answer: you already won the moment you did your best. What others think about your effort is not your business. It's wind, noise, distraction. Your job is not to please, it's to aim true. Whether you're launching a project, starting a business, or simply expressing yourself authentically, remember, you control the action. You don't control the reaction. High performers, creative minds, philosophers, and everyday heroes all face criticism. But those who thrive are the ones who no longer chase approval. They chase excellence. And excellence is quiet. It doesn't beg for validation. So stop handing your self-worth to strangers. You weren't born to fit in, you were born to stand firm. Type "I own my voice" in the comments if you're ready to live on your own terms. For take actions. Your effort is your victory. Let me ask you something. How many dreams have you buried, simply because you were afraid of the outcome? We hesitate. We stall. We tell ourselves, what if I fail? But here's a better question, straight from the Stoic playbook: what if you never try at all? The Stoic dichotomy of control teaches this clearly: you don't control the result. But you absolutely control whether or not you take the action. Whether it's applying for that dream job, starting your own business, writing your first book, or simply telling someone how you feel, the decision to act is yours. And here's the paradox: when you take the action with full intent and commitment, you've already won. Win or lose, the outcome doesn't define you, the courage to act does. Let me bring you a beautiful image from Epictetus. It's something like going on an ocean voyage. What can I do? Pick the captain, the boat, the date, and the best time to sail. But then a storm hits. What are my options? I do the only thing I am in a position to do: drown, but fearlessly. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. You can't control the storm, but you can choose to board the ship. You can show up. You can give your best. And you can face failure, not with tears, but with honor. This is where most people get it backwards. They only see success in results. But a Stoic sees success in the effort. Think of it like this: did you aim with integrity? Did you give it everything you had? Did you stand in the arena? If the answer is yes, then nothing else matters. Because while others wait for the perfect moment, you've already taken the leap. Fifth, the power of judgment. What happens next is up to you. What do you do when you've given your best, your time, your heart, your discipline, and it still doesn't work out? Your business fails. Your partner leaves. The promotion goes to someone else. The investment tanks. You lose something you worked so hard for. Naturally, emotions rise: frustration, sadness, anger, even shame. But here's the key question, a Stoic question: what are you going to do with that emotion now? Marcus Aurelius put it best: if you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. Let that sink in. It's not the rejection. not the failure, not the loss. It's your interpretation of it that creates the pain. Let's unpack this with a real-world analogy. Imagine you're a scientist at NASA. You've spent 10 years working on a Mars mission. Then suddenly, a new administration cuts funding, and the entire project is cancelled. You feel a sharp pang in your chest. That's real. That's your proto-passion, the Stoic term for that first, involuntary reaction. Even the Stoics knew you can't stop that initial jolt of emotion. You're human. But here's where it shifts. That initial flinch, that's not the problem. The real question is, what do you do next? Do you drown in anger, or do you realign? Do you curse the universe, or do you say, okay, what's my next move? Remember, animals react. But humans reason. It was our minds, not our emotions, that built cities, solved diseases, created philosophy. Donald Robertson, we don't control our initial reaction, perhaps, but we do control how we respond to it. And this is where true power lives. Not in the outcome. Not in what happens to you. But in your judgment of it. Let's bring in Cleanthes, another Stoic great. Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant. Read that again. You can walk forward with grace, or be dragged forward kicking and screaming. Either way, life moves on. So, what's the wise path? Acceptance, followed by action. If the situation can be changed, change it. If it cannot, accept it, and move with it. Not against it. This doesn't mean apathy. It means emotional discipline. It's strength through serenity. It's wisdom through clarity. Sixth, the obstacle is the way, turning adversity into strength. Marcus Aurelius, life doesn't always give us what we want. Sometimes, it hands us silence when we crave answers. Pain when we're searching for peace. And closed doors when we were ready to step through. But here's the Stoic truth that changes everything. What blocks the path becomes the path. In other words, adversity isn't your enemy, it's your opportunity. The moment you stop seeing problems as punishments, and start seeing them as the training ground for your inner strength, that's the moment you begin to transform. Take the story of Bethany Hamilton, the young professional surfer. At just 13 years old, she was attacked by a shark while surfing in Hawaii. She lost her left arm. For most people, that would have been the end of the story. But Bethany chose otherwise. With just one arm, she returned to the waves only 26 days later. She didn't see herself as a victim. She saw the pain, and paddled through it. Bethany went on to win national titles. She surfed world-class competitions. She became a symbol of unshakable willpower. Not because she avoided hardship, but because she embraced it, and used it. So what's your shark attack? What moment in your life felt like the end of everything? Was it heartbreak? A failed business? A diagnosis? The moment someone said, "You'll never make it." You don't need to erase that pain. You need to redirect it. Let it fuel your next chapter. That is, wisdom means nothing if you don't use it. Marcus Aurelius, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Let's be honest, reading about Stoicism feels powerful. But living it? That's where the real transformation begins. Over 2,000 years ago, philosophy wasn't about dusty books or ivory towers. It was about action. Epictetus didn't sit in lecture halls. He was a former slave who taught resilience. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while battling disease, war, and betrayal. Seneca advised emperors and still found time to reflect deeply on the shortness of life. They weren't just thinkers. They were doers. So here's a question for you: are you just collecting quotes? Or are you becoming what those words describe? Every insight from Stoicism, every line you've heard today, is only as useful as what you do with it. You can understand the dichotomy of control intellectually, but unless you live it, especially when life throws a punch, it's just philosophy on paper. The ancient Stoics didn't want you to admire them. They wanted you to become someone admirable. So how do we put this into practice? Let's start with 3 daily commitments, simple, but not easy. Start each morning by asking, what can I actually control today? Your words. Your focus. Your effort. Nothing more. When faced with stress, pause and repeat, this is outside of me. I control only my response. End your day with this reflection: did I act in alignment with my values, or did I chase what I can't control? Do this for 7 days, not as an experiment, but as an initiation. You'll notice something powerful: you stop trying to control the world, and start mastering yourself. Take Navy SEAL Jocko Willink, a modern Stoic in uniform. He didn't become a warrior just through brute force. He built mental armor by focusing only on what he could control: discipline, preparation, attitude. In high-stakes combat, he used the dichotomy of control without naming it. When asked how he responds to setbacks, he says one word: good. Did your plan fail? Good, now you learn. Did someone betray you? Good, now you sharpen. This mindset isn't passive, it's invincible. Next is premeditation of adversity, training the mind before the battle. Seneca, he robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. Imagine waking up every day not hoping for an easy life, but preparing for a hard one. This is premeditatio malorum, the Stoic practice of visualizing adversity before it arrives. And no, it's not pessimism. It's mental fortification. The Stoics didn't just teach courage in hardship. They rehearsed it. They believed that the only way to remain calm in the storm was to train your mind to expect the storm. Think of it like fire drills for the soul. Firefighters don't hope for fires, but they prepare so thoroughly that when flames appear, they act, not panic. So, how can you apply this today? Take 10 minutes, sit in silence, and walk your mind through moments of loss, difficulty, or uncertainty. Visualize yourself getting a call that your company is downsizing. Are you prepared emotionally? Waking up to a drained bank account, how would you act, not just react? Losing your phone, your wallet, your comfort, what remains in your control? It may sound harsh, even dark. But this is the difference between being blindsided and being battle-ready. Let's take a real-life example. Elite military units and top executives use similar practices. They run what-if drills, anticipating the worst-case scenarios not to scare themselves, but to ensure their response is deliberate, not desperate. You can do the same, because life will test you. The question is, will you break in surprise, or bend with wisdom? Premeditating adversity also reinforces the dichotomy of control. When you mentally walk through a problem, you start asking, what here can I actually do something about? This trains you to separate the noise from your responsibilities. You stop spiraling. You start strategizing. Try this: tonight, before you sleep, imagine losing something valuable: your job, your relationship, your health. Not to scare yourself, but to prepare your mind to stay calm, act wisely, and stay centered, if or when life throws you that curveball. Because once you've mentally lived it, you strip away its power. Inspired by Seneca, when the light has gone out and your head hits the pillow, look inward. Examine yourself like a wise friend, not a cruel judge. Most people end their day by scrolling through distractions. But the Stoics ended theirs with introspection. No noise. No drama. Just 5 minutes of brutal honesty and quiet reflection. This wasn't about shame, it was about sharpening. Before sleep takes you, ask yourself, what today was within my control? Where did I lose my grip on myself? What emotions did I let dictate my actions? This is not self-punishment. This is self-awareness. Because each day gives you data, and wisdom is built by reviewing the day, not just surviving it. Here's how to do it: recall the key moments of your day, good or bad. Recognize what thoughts or actions were fully in your control. Reframe the moments where you reacted poorly. Ask, how could I have shown more calm, more courage, more wisdom? And that's it. Even 5 focused minutes a night will rewire your mental muscles over time. Modern psychologists now echo this ancient practice. Reflective journaling is shown to improve emotional regulation, resilience, and mental clarity. The Stoics were 2,000 years ahead of the science. Moving on, the last is power of your mind. Marcus Aurelius: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Let's try something different. Whatever you do, don't think about an itch on your back. Don't imagine that spot, right between your shoulder blades, just out of reach. Don't picture your hand trying to get to it, and failing. Don't think of how annoying it feels right now. What just happened? You felt it, didn't you? Even if there was no itch, your brain created the sensation. That's how powerful thought is. And more importantly, that's how stubborn it can be. This isn't just about imagination. It's about how the mind rebels when we try to forcefully control it. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology. Don't resist your thoughts. Observe them. Direct them. Because resistance adds fuel. But awareness gives you power. Now imagine someone insults you. You're humiliated at work, or life throws a curveball you didn't see coming. Your first instinct: to react. To explode. To obsess. But here's where Stoicism flips the script. You don't suppress the emotion, you observe it. You give it no fuel. You remember the itch on your back. Because the emotion itself isn't the danger, your reaction is. This isn't about turning into a robot. It's about being aware. Let's say someone cuts you off in traffic. Instead of saying, "I won't get mad," say, "They are outside my control. But my peace is mine to protect." You've just practiced the Stoic version of mental jujitsu. Redirect, don't resist. Respond, don't react. Cognitive behavioral therapy, used by modern psychologists, is rooted in Stoic teachings. It teaches the same: you don't have to believe everything you think. So next time your emotions rise, instead of saying, "I won't think about it," try saying, "Let me see what I'm thinking," without judgment. Then let me choose. And if you do think of that itch on your back, Smile. Because it's your reminder to return to your power. If this resonated with you, if you're realizing just how powerful your reactions really are, hit that like button, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom, and drop the word self-mastery in the comments if you're ready to rule your inner world. See you in next Stoic wisdom.